She felt like someone at her old place didn't like it because they felt like she was being pushy and telling them what to do, but I think it makes it pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have to agree with it. I do, yeah, I prefer it.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I was just talking to Sean about it earlier.
I don't think any of us are above a little assistance, much the same as anybody else, I would imagine, right?
We might sound a little more eloquent up here.
At least we
Well,
do our
let's
best.
speak for the rest of us other than you.
Yeah, don't speak for me. Mine's called rambling, not eloquence.
No Don tonight.
I think everybody's running a little late tonight.
Could come strolling in.
Is Ashley here still? Did she leave those reindeer things for me? I've got her cash. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll leave your cash. She'll be there. Alright, that sounds good. That sounds good. Works for me. This chair's driving me nuts.
Is it
It keeps
going up and
sinking.
down? Somebody
Yeah,
must
right.
Somebody must have switched it because it worked.
We need some new chairs up here because I feel like I'm sitting on the floor.
And tonight I'm sitting, like, yeah,
It's weird.
You
And
want
they
this
don't-
chair?
no, because that's how I usually am.
Oh, okay.
That's why you think I'm always like looking up at you. Have you ever wondered that?
That's
why I feel
That's
like
why
I'm
I'm always like,
sitting.
hey,
I never noticed
I'm
that.
sitting down like this.
Going down this way.
Yeah, it might be some time to authorize, can we authorize our own?
New chair purchases.
I sure hope it's,
And we really don't need anything extravagant.
She's got some in her. She's got one in her office that's white. It's like a white office chair.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool looking. Should get some of them. Find out where
I
she
mean, if
got
they,
it.
if they want a good deal, the guy we used to get our office equipment from is out of Benton Harbor, so local guy.
Metro Business Interiors.
And they take care of everybody up there.
Yeah, they do. Wow.
Banging deals. Sometimes you can go up there and you can get them from the back room, all 5 of them matching for $300.
Oh, wow.
Those chairs are
Well,
ridiculously expensive. I mean,
Yeah,
Isn't
they
that
are.
crazy?
They're ungodly.
Ergonomical.
Oh, you can go $600-700, $1,000.
It's crazy.
Whenever Whirlpool redoes their offices, they gotta get rid of them somehow.
We're close. We're real close. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Buchanan City Commission. It's Monday, December 13th at 7 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have roll call, please.
Dennison,
Here.
Whedon,
Here.
Downey,
Here.
Money,
Present.
Swem.
Here.
Thank you. So we do have just some quick changes to the agenda. I would move to amend tonight's agenda by removing item 11A, the Boone Labs application, and also by amending item 7D on the consent agenda to remove invoice number 185040A for an amended expenditure amount of $273,790.26.
So I'll move to approve the amended agenda for tonight's meeting.
Roll call, please.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Thank you. That takes us to public comment for agenda items only. If anybody would like to make a public comment regarding an agenda item, please make your way to the podium and state your name and address for the minutes. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment?
I'm Dan Bianski, 103 North Detroit, Buchanan, Michigan. There was a notation in there about losing some of our revenue from the state. If that's the case, I'd like to know, because I'm pretty good at writing nasty emails. I don't want the city to depend on that, and I made it very clear when we first started this, not depend on the state to give us the revenue that they said they'd give us to begin with. But I have some fairly good connections, and I'd really like to help out on this. As far as increasing the permits, I'm really divided, guys. I mean, I really, when I first helped pass this ordinance, I wanted it to go to grow and I wanted it to go to processing. But we're sitting on, even though they're out there, they're not being used. So we've got one right here that's not being used, and I don't know how many Redbud owns, but they own several. They own several properties out there on Post Road. So just please be careful. Maybe not so many, maybe 3, and let capitalism work. Make them sell them, because we were promised a $20 million project out there on Post Road, and we ain't seen none of that. So that's all I got. You cleared up. Thank you very much for clearing that other thing up for me right away. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Michael Owen, 4793 Tulip Tree Lane. Just want to make a note on the proposal for assistance with flood ordinances in the community. As the CEO of the Community Foundation, one of the projects that we're going to be doing here in the near future is the possibility of moving to Ross Sanders. That would leave our building on Days Avenue in the floodplain. As we've seen with a variety of other projects that are happening in downtown community, the vast majority of downtown is in this floodplain. In 2009, they made some significant changes to FEMA regulations with floodplain that are drastically affecting our downtown. We haven't noticed these as of yet because we didn't have financed properties downtown. It's a requirement by all lenders to have this insurance policy, which can range for the buildings that are downtown anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 a year. So when you think of, from an investor standpoint, how important it is to have some assistance in this area, it's vital. If we want to be able to have a thriving downtown and have that investment that we're looking for, this assistance is greatly needed. That is it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment? Okay, seeing none. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the amended consent agenda?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Roll call, please.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, moving on to reports by departments, community development. Mr. Murphy?
Mayor, City Commissioners, members of the public, Rich Murphy, Community Development Director. I am happy to be here tonight to present for your consideration 2 new economic programs for the Economic Development Strategy for the City of Buchanan. These are 2 new tools, so to speak, for the developer's toolkit that will be funded with ARPA federal funds as approved in your budget. The first one was referenced in my original presentation to you, the Technical Assistance Fund. which would allow developers and business owners to submit applications where there's due diligence required of a technical nature. The whole strategy is designed to remove obstacles and get over hurdles in the development, redevelopment world. You would see this tool used, for example, for one example is a nomination for the National Register of Historic Places that would open up federal and state funding. I think it's important to say that the approval of that type of program gives the investor additional funding options, doors open for them to leverage more money for projects. So I think it's certainly a best practice for your consideration, again, in the developer's toolkit. Secondly, as was referenced already tonight, the floodplain assistance program. We are aware of properties in play right now that are either under contract or have changed hands that are facing this redevelopment obstacle right now. And it is important that we address this issue, both short-term and long-term. Short-term is trying to partner with these developers for them to make business decisions and that will cause the project to move forward, but also for us to keep an eye on the longer-term goal, which is to see how we can address the floodplain issue in the city of Buchanan, how we could work to potentially change the maps. That probably will take that's a longer-term plan. But these are two, I think, important programs. I anticipate, like with the other programs that we've approved, there will be engagement. You have people discussing technical assistance right now and floodplain issues, so I would expect that the investors would look at this program soon. And I would be here provided they are eligible for the programs that we wrote. If I see they're eligible, they're just like the models for the other programs. You have full discretion on the approvals, and we will only approve as we have available funds in our budget.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Murphy regarding his programs?
Okay.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the technical assistance program?
I'll motion to approve the technical assistance program.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
May I roll call, please?
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I hope to be before you very soon with applications for these programs.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Rich, did
Would
you want to
anyone like
also
to-
touch on the
Yeah.
floodplain, that will require a separate approval?
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Yeah, the floodplain assistance program, again, allows developers and business owners to submit applications that would help deal with these hurdles that we're seeing. If you are financing a property downtown, which we have learned that several properties on Front Street and in the historic downtown are in the floodplain, they would face additional costs for the cost of insurance. So this would allow us to help the investor get over that redevelopment obstacle by closing that gap over time. It could be a longer commitment, but certainly I believe we cite $5,000 per year up to 10 years in the program. Certainly a small amount of investment from the city's perspective over time that could reap millions of dollars of redevelopment loans and assets going forward. You know, a lot of these incentives are really more important right now as we see some of catalytic redevelopment opportunities in front of us right now. Buchanan is hot, so we need to kind of strike while the iron is hot and try to move these redevelopment efforts forward. So I would request, again, you have the program in front of you on the floodplain assistance program, and if you had any questions on that item as well.
Just for the record,
Yeah.
the floodplain downtown goes from Mill Alley east, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
It may be in certain circumstances that we weren't aware that certain properties were in it because they may have not been financed. Now, as the market is engaging financial tools in their due diligence, we're discovering that, so now we are more aware of the issue. But at the same time, it becomes more urgent for us to overcome.
Sure. Anybody have any questions? Anybody like to make a motion?
This is money I would move to approve the floodplain assistance program.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
A roll call, please.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Abstain, business interest.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey.
Yes.
Thank you once again. I hope to be before you soon with an application to move these projects forward.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rich.
Go down to the treasurer's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, members of the public. Stephanie Powers, City Treasurer. Tonight, you should have received the Treasurer's Report in your packets, which indicates our bank balances and fund balances through November 30th, 21. I also included the interest earned. One thing of note with that is that earning interest is better at Honor Credit Union right now than the investment account is earning. Given the nature of the economy, that's interesting. I also did include an investment reconciliation for you. We are doing that quarterly now, and the investment account has been reconciled through September 30th of 2021. So the next one will be at the beginning of January. With the removal of the invoice this evening, the expenditures were $273,790.26 as previously noted. The invoice that was removed came from the general fund, and that brought down its expenditures to $104,245.98. I do want to note that out of that the general fund expenditure, $23,288.20 are reimbursements to entities from the 2020 revolving tax check delinquents that we received from Berrien County. So that was part of that being dispersed. Expenses from major streets, $1,803.39. Local streets, $1,583.82. Water and sewer fund, $29,209.29. Of note, $5,538.46 is a quarterly reimbursement to Buchanan Township for the quarterly utility assessment fees, and that is 2 quarters worth that we have there. Trust and agency saw $68,818.96 this time, and that was, as was discussed earlier today, $66,685.80 is our MISHTA fee, Mattia Court's pilot program, which is payment in lieu of taxes. That's a program that Mattia Court participates in, and then we do still have to disperse the taxes to the entities in Buchanan. So those payments were for 2019 and 2020. And that is an annual state report that we file every year. Also, finally, taxes, $67,895.50, and that was a summer tax disbursement that went out. So, is there any questions?
So what's Mattea Court have exactly? Are they tax-free entity to provide affordable housing for seniors? Is that how that works?
Right, they participate in a state program called the pilot payment in lieu of taxes, and they pay the city a fee, and we collect The state tells us a percentage of what taxes to pay out of that program to our entities. And I could probably explain a little bit better. It's kind of difficult to explain, but we did have to disperse that for 2019 and 2020. And that helps out that apartment complex.
Right.
It's a shelter program.
To make it a little easier to understand, there's MSHDA regulations and also state affordable housing statutes that enable low-income housing and Section 8 housing developers to go to a city and then offer to enter into these pilot agreements, or again, payment in lieu of taxes. So they negotiate with the city based on what's allowed under the statutes and regulations, and they come to an agreement or they don't. In this case, there was an agreement by a prior commission and city attorney at the time, I'm sure, drafted the agreement. And then you have this agreement that they pay the agreed upon amount in lieu of normal tax bill. And that's, again, negotiated based on what's allowed under the contract. And it extends until the term of the contract expires.
Thank you.
So are we 2 years behind? Why are we doing 19 and 20 when it's almost the end of 21?
That we're catching up on last year's bill that the state did not send to us.
This is a process that begins in May, and so that would have 2019, May of 20, the report would have been filed in 2020 for 2019, and May of 2020 was a difficult time here.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to move on to item 11, new business, and start with item B, an introduction and first reading of ordinance 2021.12/425.
So for the public, this is a consideration of an ordinance amendment for additional marijuana Class C grow and processing permits, 5 each for medical use only. It's of special note that this does not increase the number of permits for retail establishments or retail stores that would be in the downtown or anywhere else in the city. An increase in the number of marijuana stores is not under consideration at this time.
So I'm going to read the ordinance.
Technically, as long as it's publicly available, you don't have to
We don't need to actually read it?
I say
Okay.
that's a mouthful.
Yeah. So if anyone in the public does not have a copy of that and would like a copy, I'm happy to provide that to you.
We're gonna
Deborah-
And
Deborah used to read 'em,
we
that's
can
why.
offer, if someone would like it read aloud, that we can do so. Does anyone at this time request a full reading of the entirety of the proposed ordinance amendment?
I mean, that's the only reason I asked is,
Yeah.
uh,
Can anyone provide a summary?
Absolutely, yep, absolutely. So the proposed amendment would be to, again, there's a section in the ordinance, Section 3, authorization of marijuana establishments and fees, that sets forth the maximum number of establishments that are allowed. And under that, it lists Class C marijuana grower. And also under that is marijuana processor. And we would be increasing those from 5 total each to 10 total each. So there would be an opportunity for someone to apply for a Class C, which Class C meaning not more than 2,000 marijuana plants. 5 additional permits would be available for that under medical. Additionally, for marijuana processor, 5 additional permits on top of the 5 currently available would also be made available.
10,000 more marijuana plants being grown in Buchanan.
Potentially.
anyone like to make a motion to approve the first reading?
Sean will make the motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2021.12/425.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Roll call, please.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to item C, introduction and first reading of ordinance 2021.12/426. Consider ordinance amendments for additional marijuana Class C grow and processing permits, 5 each for adult use. Note that this does not increase the number of permits for retail establishments, meaning an increase in the number of marijuana stores is not currently being considered. You want to just give a,
Yeah, so
Right.
similarly to what was just discussed, this would be increasing by 5 the number of permits available for Class C, but this time for adult use rather than medical, for grow, and then also increasing by 5 for adult use marijuana processing. Would anyone like that one read aloud?
I move to approve the first reading of ordinance 2021.12-/426.
thank you. Is there support?
I would support.
Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Okay, item D, introduction and first reading of ordinance 2021.12/427. Consider the creation of a City of Buchanan Code of Conduct via enactment of an ethics ordinance as drafted by the city attorney. I can just real briefly say that the commission is really proud of this new ordinance, and we felt like it was the right thing to do to start with ourselves, to hold people to a higher standard. So I don't normally speak for them, but I can tell you that they're all really proud of putting this out there. So I don't know if we can just cover it briefly, or if you want to.
Yeah. So it provides a mechanism via the ordinance to have more of an enforcement mechanism rather than just a code that we aspire to. It's something that there'll be consequences if people violate. And the type of ethics it talks about is making sure that not only is everyone acting professionally, but they're acting in a way that's not going to be putting anyone in a financial position where they're getting direct financial gain from any type of position. It's also eliminating opportunities for, what could be considered bribes or things of that nature. So it's just making everything more clear and transparent and, again, ethical. Is this an ordinance that anyone would like read aloud?
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion?
This is Money. I'd move to approve the first reading of ordinance 2021.12-427.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Approved.
Thank you. Item E, introduction and first reading of ordinance 2021.12/423. Consider ordinance amendments to allow for smoking vaping during permitted temporary marijuana events.
So I can provide a summary of this one as well. Our current marijuana ordinance does allow for temporary events. However, in the temporary events, when it talks about consumption, it indicates currently that both smoking and vaping are not allowed under the ordinance as it currently reads. Same with lounges, as was brought up earlier. Currently, there's applications available for 2 lounges. However, also under that same ordinance, smoking and vaping are prohibited. At this time, what's up for consideration is just in relation to the temporary event permits, not lounges. And the question is whether smoking and vaping should be allowed during temporary permanent events. Is this an ordinance that anyone would like read aloud?
Anybody like to make a motion?
Sean, I'll move to approve the first reading of ordinance 2021.12/423.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Okay, item F.
So the administration is requesting that the commission consider canceling the regular meeting currently scheduled for Monday, December 27th, and instead rescheduling it for Tuesday, December 28th, due to the fact that City Hall is closed that day because of the Christmas holiday.
I move to cancel the regular meeting scheduled for Monday, December 27th, 2021, and reschedule it for Tuesday, December 28th, 2021, due to the Christmas holiday.
Thank you. Is there support?
I would support that.
Your roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes. Okay, item G, goal-setting work session. Consider scheduling a goal-setting work session to formalize goals for the city administration during the coming year, as discussed during the city manager's recent performance review. How quickly did you want to try and schedule this?
Excuse me, if you guys thought it would be appropriate, I didn't think we should try to squeeze it in with the holidays, with everyone being so busy, maybe late January.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, as long if you could, you have the sample list, if you could come with some recommended measurables or any additional goals that you had in mind to support that.
Perfect.
Okay, great. So we'll be looking for some dates, or an email with some dates or something, and we'll get it figured out.
Technically, you don't have to do a motion on this one, I just wanted to make sure it was
Okay.
out there that that's something we were gonna be doing.
Okay, great. All right, well, I would move to enter closed session pursuant to MCL 15.268D to consider the purchase of lease of real property. Is there support?
Support.
A roll call, please.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey.
Yes.
Okay. We will try and make this as quick as possible and be back as quickly as we can.
once you get a few of them, we're looking at everything, boardwalks, parking lot, but also like shoreline stabilization, basic species stuff. There could be kayak launch, include boat, a lot of the boating stuff now is done where it's mobile. So if you lose or some water, you don't have to fight the water. So there's a lot of opportunities, which I'm gonna go after, because that's what I'm using to market 4 acre parcel, which is the old zone. Developers want to use houses.
It was a quick one tonight. Hopefully we don't have too many more of them. We put it at the end of the agenda too.
Yeah.
Look how much lower I am.
Dude, somebody had to have switched it, because that's exactly what I was dealing with every meeting. And I was sitting down looking up at you guys like, hi, guys, include
I
me.
do look like a shorter guy out here now. I notice it.
Huh?
I look shorter and I notice it.
Yes. We're about to
It
say
makes
hi,
me
so-
feel insecure.
What?
I said,
Switch with me?
yeah.
Oh, we're making fun of Larry.
Yeah.
I just see Larry's eye.
Wilson.
All right.
All right, he's like, keep
Enough
it up,
with the-
guys.
With the short, old jokes.
Okay. Okay, we're back. Thanks for sticking around. All we had to do was bring cookies and iced tea, and everybody stayed.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're all gone.
I would move to enter close, oh, I'm sorry. I would move to re-enter open session. Is there support?
This is
Support.
money.
Oh, sorry. I got it. Beach to it. You can do the next one.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Money, would you like to make the motion for number 3?
Yes, I would move to authorize the city administration to take actions on the discussions in the closed session.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Can you roll call, please?
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to communications. None? No communications tonight. Okay, we're going to public comment for non-agenda items only.
That worked out much better with the
And would like to make a
I agree.
public comment, please make your way to the podium, state your name and address for the minutes.
My name is Hope House on 111 South Cayuga Street. It has been brought to my attention that there's not going to be a duck park anymore. So what are we going to do? This brings in a lot of people. So what's going to happen here?
So I can answer that to some effect. Right now, the BARB is actively working to try to have the Friends of the Ducks volunteer group come to our next meeting to have a more comprehensive conversation of what that transition would look like.
So who are the people?
The BARB committee is the Buchanan Area Recreation Board.
Okay.
So that's a multi-member board. We have representation from various groups in the city, and then also it's a joint board now with the Buchanan Township.
Okay.
So I'll make sure I give you their
Yeah,
contact information.
okay,
if you would
because
like
I
that. Yep.
have found another,
Proposed location.
yes, and, but, somebody said that they don't want the ducks there because of, Veterans, Park. That's not big enough for a Veterans Park and the ducks? I mean, we only have about 15 ducks down there.
Well, I don't
I don't
wanna have a
mind. I
discussion
can
of
eat
the
it.
ducks, but there's more of a public health issue with the rats, actually, that are.
Always have been.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
and, okay, they have been setting traps, and I have been keeping close watch on that. There's been a dead squirrel down there for 3.5 weeks, and nobody came to pick up that squirrel. And that needs to be a constant thing of putting poison in the, where the rats go into these little containers. And, if we could get that under control, Because the rats have always been there, but it's out of hand because they get a lot of the food.
Right.
And,
And if you could schedule to come to the next bar meeting and discuss that with us, I mean, that
Okay.
would be really
okay,
appreciated.
all right, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Hey, I'm Derek Sousley, 123 South Cayuga Street. We didn't plan coming together. We just lived by each other. I ran into her. So I was actually, I emailed you guys about the marijuana. Did you guys get my email about smoking marijuana in public?
I did not receive anything.
You guys probably spam me. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I was.
We will
asked-
now.
Yeah,
No,
now
we
you
will.
know.
Yeah.
Now you know who to spam.
Yeah.
No, so this ordinance, I didn't ask. I know it's non-agenda items or comments, but for the temporary smoking, what does that constitute? Like, if they're allowed, is there gonna be like a festival where they're allowed to smoke in public, or what's?
It'd be something similar to that effect. There's a group that has come to previous meetings and requested to do an event down at the Common, and they had indicated they would have up like fencing and security, and that consumption, if approved, would be contained within that area during their event.
And we just did approve it, right?
No.
Just
No.
first reading was discussed, so.
Oh, okay. Well, in my email, I'd asked if previous city council folks or commissioners had kind of sold the weed idea on saying that, you know, taxes were going to come down and money was going to be flowing, and my taxes haven't come down and my water bill went up some. Maybe I'm using more water, but what's the deal with that? Isn't that supposed to solve all of our financial woes here in Buchanan?
I can't speak to that. I wasn't there during that conversation, but I guess I can say, and that was included in the packet, the state of Michigan calculates what we get for the revenue, and when they do the calculations, I guess a simple way of saying it is they take their cut of the pie first, and they get to calculate what that cut is. So we've received substantially less than was anticipated when this program and thought process was initially undertaken.
So maybe we should review reducing the amount of marijuana places in town instead of add more if, you know, we were sold a false bill of goods. Has anybody thought about that?
Well, you know, there's also been $30 million of investments that have fixed up dilapidated buildings. There's been hundreds of jobs created. Those are the things that you might be overlooking.
Okay. So like the other marijuana ordinance is just so there's more growing facilities? The one that was passed tonight, so there's the 10,000 more plants?
We didn't pass any ordinances tonight. We approved the first reading is all we did tonight.
So then what happens? There's another reading?
There will
and
be a
then we vote
second
on it?
reading, yes.
Yeah,
So it probably will be approved though, right?
We're allowing public commentary the public process to happen so we can get feedback from the constituents on their position.
So, okay. So I'm a constituent, and my feedback, you probably know where this is going, is that there's marijuana everywhere. I got a 6-month-old, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and I got to explain to him that smell, son. He asked, "What's that skunk smell?" That's weed. That's marijuana, and it's bad. And you smell it everywhere. They're already smoking it everywhere out in public. The streets are lined with people from Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, all weekend long. Everybody sees it, picking up weed. And we've ruined this little town. Maybe we created hundreds of jobs, but there's got to be a better way to create jobs than, you know, selling weed. You know, so that's my feedback.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unspam me, because I'll be emailing you.
I think I did get your email now I'm thinking about it. I know, when you brought the water bill up, that rang a bell. Come
Anyone
to the
else?
following meetings on that.
Okay.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Dan Bianski, 103 North Detroit, Buchanan, Michigan. I was one of the commissioners that passed the ordinance for marijuana, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. It brought all kinds of money into this town. And I sat up there, and everybody asked me what we just heard. What do we tell our children? Tell them you've been lying to them all their lives. Tell Grandma and Grandpa they've been lied to all their lives.
Hey, excuse me, sir.
I'm allowed to it.
No one interrupted you, okay?
I'm allowed to it. It brought all kinds of revenue into this town. Ever since Clark Equipment left, this town has been nothing but going down, 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 down. I got called everything but a nice guy for calling the city of Buchanan a ghetto. Now, there's a massive influx into the city of Buchanan. You may not like the change, but it's not Mayberry anymore. It's going to change. It's going to take people like you to institute the change and to help with the change, to help with the parking, to help with the ordinance, and to read the laws and participate in the committees. You come down here complaining at the commission, and I can't breathe, so I'm gonna have to quit. But it just really aggravates me because I went through it and I thought it out really hard. And so did 5 other people. And these 5 people think about it really hard. And to come down here and complain when you haven't participated at all and you're not reading any of the rules or the regulations, really, you're wasting people's time, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Dan Benak, 116 Main Street. Mine's just like informational. The first reading of the ordinance is under the temporary marijuana events. What about was there, the last meeting supposed to be something on the consumption
That was
readings?
number 2 on the list was consumption.
That fell under 2?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
and
the
that
second
one's,
one.
that one's
Yep.
still being reviewed, so that's,
Okay, so
Noth-
this counts as one of the readings of it.
No.
No,
That
no.
one's- that one's not.
Right now, we're only deliberating the temporary events for smoking and vaping.
So none of the consumption lounges are on
I
any of them?
misquoted.
I'm sorry? Say that again. I'm
the
sorry.
consumption lounges are not part of the.
Currently,
reading.
no.
No.
On either one of them, on any of the ordinances?
No,
Correct.
No.
correct.
Okay, thanks.
Any other public comments? Going once, going twice. Okay, city manager comments?
I actually don't have any for this evening, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Whedon?
I thought I wasn't gonna have any, but, Dan, thank you for standing up and saying that. As you stated, you went through the most difficult thing, and that was really, to your point, which was brought up 5 years ago, right? I would imagine it's been about 5 years, right? Those are the exact same questions, exact same concerns. Everything had been, at this point, in my opinion, nullified, except for the fact that there is a group of people who still have a perception of what marijuana is. And I agree with Dan. I think that it's wrong. I think we have to spend the time to educate and have people understand exactly what it is it's doing for the community. Yes, you see cars from Indiana. Yes, you see cars from Ohio. You definitely see cars from Illinois. Why is that? Because they're looking here to buy businesses, to open businesses. What Rich is doing to incentivize people to come to this city, not only because of marijuana, but to become residents and redevelop our downtown. Because I can tell you this, until marijuana came here, and I would imagine everybody in this panel could agree, nobody was knocking down the door. Rich didn't exist, and Bill Marks could definitely tell you nobody was knocking down the door to move to Buchanan. So I will vehemently support everything we're doing here. Now understand, just because we pass 5 licenses for medical, 5 licenses for recreational, does not mean we're gonna approve every one. It does not mean that the planning commission is gonna approve every one. It does not mean. Testament to who I'm speaking with. That's all I've got, Sean.
Commissioner Swim?
I want to thank the Buchanan Preservation Society for the invitation to their board meeting on Sunday. Had an excellent time. They had a guest speaker from the Pokagon Band who was incredibly informative. Hopefully we can have some continued discussion with that gentleman. Wasn't expecting to spend my Sunday afternoon that way, but I was happy I did. Since water bills came up, please pay attention to future commission meetings related to the 2023 infrastructure replacement plan. In previous meetings, we've had significant discussion as to why water bills are in the state they are, and that 2023 investment is going to be massive, and it will be felt in the water bill, unfortunately. So I encourage you to inform yourself on that. Thank you.
Commissioner Whedon, or Commissioner Downey?
No comments.
Commissioner Money?
I'm just gonna thank everybody for being here and Dan for stepping up to the plate. Gentlemen back there, for your comments. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
I have no comments tonight. I would take a motion to adjourn.
Make said motion.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, roll call.
Whedon,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
You're adjourned. Chapter.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Sean, do you know that somebody bought the zinc bridal store building, the one kitty corner from the fitness shop? I was at the Preservation Society yesterday and nobody knew who he was.
That-
But he came and I walked in late and I asked him, who are you? He said he bought that building, he's gonna turn it into a park.
Is that what he's doing? I've seen him down there. I've seen him down there working.
That's cool.
And they just fixed up the one not right across the street, but right behind it. No, but not them. I'm saying somebody else did. Yeah, yeah. So the only one that's kind of difficult is that one on the corner right now. No, no, the one that's right across from the liquor store. Is that the one they fixed up? Okay.
Oh, just recently, yeah.
Okay, good. So the zinc is fixed up then. Plus the provisions or the processors down the street.
Sorry, I wanted to grab Rick before he ran out of here tonight. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It felt like we got transported to years ago. Yeah. Hello.
What? What about it?
That's the last meeting we had. Am I reading something?
Ordinance minutes for allowers. Yeah.
And it's because we haven't.
But it was on the last meeting?
Well,
If it's on there, Dan, it's because it's the original ordinance. Is it still it still stands right now.
it is up for, it will be up for discussion, but we're doing a little bit more deeper thinking on that.
Months away. I'm trying to close. I've been 3 months in this.
I get that.
What's tomorrow's meeting?
It's tomorrow's meeting? No, that was for a consumption lounge. Rick Paniagua bought a permit for a consumption lounge, but it needs approval. We have 2 consumption lounge permits available right now, but our consumption lounge, the way it's written right now, does not allow smoking and vaping. So, edibles or ointments is what Rick is gonna do in his store.
Or infused
show
food.
people, yeah.
Right.
Yes, and the ordinance right now, well, I don't know that the ordinance actually says what you can do, but it says what you can't do, which is smoking and vaping.
Hypothetically, just so I can plan what I'm doing. In the best case scenario, we're 2 months away.
I don't even know that I can give you a timeline. I don't know, honestly.
There'd be a minimum, because it'd have to be so many readings.
Well, I mean, we'd have to have 2 readings, so, right, because we had the first one on temporary events tonight. At the next meeting, we'll have another reading on temporary events, which I'm going to assume that one is going to get passed.
Right.
So that's the question I really want to ask. The golden question, did they apply, did they put any paperwork forward to the city?
Who? No.
The city commission has not received anything.
Because we don't do anything until they apply for the license.
Because,
They,
and here's the thing is, I don't think it's the city's place to interfere in private real estate. Okay. Well, I'm just, I mean, right now, we don't have an ordinance that would approve it, so. Dan, you dropped, sweet and long.
yeah. Oh, no, none of us are on the spot because none of us have communicated that we